there. Thanks for watching or listening to VIP Boxing's Bell to Bell, episode 144. You're either watching on YouTube or you've downloaded on iTunes, Spotify, iTunes, or YouTube. You know we are. You know me, Steve Lillis. You know John Evans. Tonight's guest, a boxer, or a soon-to-be ex-boxer, who he's given so much to the sport in a short period of time as a pro, and I think boxing's given him quite a bit in a short period of time. But he's calling it a day as a boxer after his contest against Carl Sampson on Darren Burley's card at Bradford Cedar Court Hotel on Saturday night. It's my friend, the Fist, Jimmy First. Jim, thanks for coming on again. Fantastic to see you. Always great catching up.
Stevie, great to be on. Great to be back on with you, mate. And yeah, very sad to be leaving boxing, but it had to happen at some point. And you know, we're not getting any younger, are we? We'll talk about all that in a bit. But yeah, it is what it is, isn't it? You know, I'm going to miss it, but I won't miss the dieting, that's for sure.
Yeah. But you enjoy in the final few days. You're enjoying the build up to it, knowing you'll never have a fight week again after this.
You know what, I really am, and a lot of people have come out, and you know, the people that haven't been able to make fights in the past, they were like, look, we want to make your last fight. And yeah, you know, it's going to be great. It's going to be a mix of emotions, but obviously there's a job to do on Saturday night. And Carl Sampson's a real good kid, real good mover, great boxer, nice lad. I know him, I know his family. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it all. Like I say, I'm looking forward to not ever having to diet again and putting a little bit of tub on. So next time you see me, I might feel a bit more chub around my cheeks.
Hey, well, Jimmy, we won't treat you as a retired fighter yet because you're still a professional. So I've got to ask your opinion on another fight. You know, it didn't go your way against Louis Sylvester a few months ago now. Big fight coming up with Sam Noakes and Lewis. And Sam seems to be a massive favourite with people, probably south of Birmingham. But Lewis can box, can't he? How do you see that fight going?
Yeah, do you know what? Yeah, very good boxer move. And I think if anyone can beat Sam Noakes, Louis Sylvester's got the style for it. If he can stick to the plan and keep Noakes off for 12 rounds, he's really stylistically very quick, very sharp. I mean, I didn't underestimate him one little bit. I mean, and again, that's another thing about the retirement, you know, whether or not I got caught cold, whether or not I got old overnight, prehistoric overnight. I'm already bloody old out, but maybe I just got old, granddad style old overnight. Did I just get caught early? You know, there's a lot of unanswered questions. That's why it's been so difficult, but we'll go on to that. But I believe Sylvester can beat him, and I believe he's about 4-5 to 1, and I might have a little dabble on that one.
Brilliant. Well, follow Jimmy the Tipster. That's a new line for him. Tipping fights after boxing.
There we go.
Anyway, we'll crack on. We'll try and stick our best to 3 minutes until we get to the final subject about retirement. John, you got your watch and whatever you use it to go, these
3
times.
minutes. We say this every week, but I'll be strict this time.
Right, be strict until we get to the last round. Round one, Dalton Smith, Jose Zepeda is your first topic, Mr. Evans.
Yeah, when this dropped in my email inbox the other day, my eyes opened. I thought this is a really, really good bit of matchmaking for Dalton Smith. You know, he's above British level now, we think. And then you've got that massive step from European to world class, and we're always looking for people to bridge it. And more often, those fights aren't happening, particularly not happening in Britain. We used to get quite a lot, didn't we, of sort of slightly old, faded fighters coming over to Britain and people getting themselves into world title contention on the back of it. So my eyes opened a little bit with this one because Zepeda's a good fighter.
Yeah.
He will be just over the hill, but he can bang, he's dangerous, he's got a good ranking, he's well respected. Dalton can cut. We've seen him maybe not look as good as he has in the past a couple of times recently. And I think this will tell us a lot about Dalton Smith. It's a really good bit of matchmaking.
Yeah, I agree with you, John. I think he's lost 2 of his last 3, but Pro Gray and the unbeaten kid who Jack Hackford was going to fight, Hitchens, that's no disgrace at all. And yeah, look, it's a great fight. We've been bragging about Dalton on here for a long time. I think when he was on about 7 fights, I described him as the best prospect in the world under 10 fights. I was that. sold on him. But it's going to be an interest, as you say, it's great matchmaking. There's a slight gamble there because Zepeda might be over the top, but he's still got something to offer without being right at the bottom there. And the sort of you got to get answered here is if Zepeda lands one of those bombs, how does Dalton react? Does he go hell for leather? He gets cut, can get hurt. Yeah, look, it's a great fight. The whole card that Matchroom's doing, I think it's in Sheffield, isn't it? Is absolutely superb. I think the women's world title fight, as you say, John, great matchmaking. I just hope when Zepeda comes over, he doesn't have 10 of his family members in the same room like he did when he fought Terry Flanagan.
Yeah.
Do you know Dalton at all? Are you familiar with him, Jimmy?
Yeah, I've sparred Dalton, and you know what? One of the toughest spars I've had. He's one of the best that I've sparred. I think Dalton will rise to the challenge. I know this is Zepeda is absolutely flipping, he's only fought, he's only lost to, world level fighters, Terry Flanagan, the one you mentioned, was it Richardson, a few others. He can bang. I think Dalton will, he'll rise to the challenge. I think he's got a great trainer in his dad, Grant. I've known them both a long time, and I think he'll do it. And he'll rise to the occasion, will Dalton, in front of his own hometown fans. He's definitely, one of the best I've ever been in with. Great kid.
Before we finish, I did speak to Zepeda a while ago, actually, now probably about a year ago, and he's still bothered by that shoulder injury. He picked up against Black, still comes out and still goes back in, even now after all this time. So might be something to watch.
Yeah, good career as well, the top rank. I'm not sure who he's with now, but he's had a good career, Zepeda, and I hope he's made something anyway. Round two, you know what? Conor Benn's another in action this weekend against club fighter Peter Dobson. He's out in Las Vegas. I think his first fight since the drug scandal was in Orlando. I'm not here. I've had my opinion on that. I'm not here to talk about whether he should or not. But what I am wondering is he's been embroiled in this dispute with the British Boxing Board of Control. It could be heading to a courtroom before anything's sorted. That court case could take a year or two. And I'm generally thinking now, I mean, the Eubank fight fell through where they were just going to go to possibly Tottenham Hotspur's ground this weekend and use another governing body. But I'm wondering if I'm now generally thinking now that we may well have seen the last of Conor Benn in this country, because after this he could well have another big fight and they'll just have it in America and go on from there. I think we may have seen the last of him here. I don't know what you think. Think he'll come back again, Jimmy, and box here?
I mean, I'd like to think so. Again, it's all down to the the history with the this testing, isn't it, and everything. I'm not sure. I'm sure Eddie Hearn can probably pull, but pull some strings. The board are very, very strict on these things, aren't they? So I'd like to think so, because I'd like to see him fight Eubank. I'd like to see him in some of the big fights, just for the sake of the fans. You know what I mean? And on a selfish note, and because he's a very good fighter. I don't know much about this Dobson, but I'm sure he'll at this stage of his career, they wouldn't match him too drastically difficult. No. And he'll probably plough through this guy. But yeah, it would be good to see him back in the UK. From a fan's perspective, definitely.
What do you think, John? Have we seen the last of him?
Oh, I think he's got to come back at some point, because this is where his fan base is. If he do move him to America, he's in the away corner, isn't he? He's not going to build a big fervent fan base over in America. To get big events, he's going to be in fights that he's not really going to win. He's not going to beat Joe Ennis and people like that. Yeah. But they're the only opponents who are going to draw a crowd over in America. He may well end up in Saudi, Steve. Following the money over to Saudi Arabia. Maybe that'll be the home for Conor Benn after this. But you can look, he's fighting in a ballroom or something, isn't he, this weekend?
That's right, yeah, in that Virgin Hotel. Yeah.
So I don't know how they would build him in America without cashing him out. So maybe if you want to keep him winning, it'll end up being in Saudi Arabia until all these disputes, should we call them, are sorted, which is just taking forever, isn't it?
Yeah, too long. Far too long. Round 3, your first topic, Jimmy. It's a topic that I think until the fight takes place, all our guests are going to want to talk about. Tyson Fury against Usyk.
Yeah, well, it's one of the ages, isn't it? Fight for the ages. You know, it's undisputed everywhere. It's incredible, isn't it? This is the big one, isn't it? And yeah, it's I'm very excited for it. In fact, I'm going to be in Belfast because I'm over there with Jake Pollard. I'm cornering. I've got my trainer's license and my second, so I'm over in Belfast. So Jake's fighting a lad over there, and then I think the hotel's quite a swanky event, so we'll be watching it over there. So yeah, happy days. You know, I'll be retired, so I'll be having a Guinness, that's for sure.
I'll tell you a bit about that hotel. I'll shoot off topic from the top. There's a big do afterwards that night. Your Roper Hotel, they have a big party. It's on a big screen for you. Mark Dunlop looks after you brilliantly. I've got Jake Smith on a fight out there. He just said, yeah, he's on the bill. He just asked who he was fighting without even going anywhere because Mark Dunlop is superb over there. Anyway, look,
brilliant.
You know what? With this fight, excuse me, I can't believe how quickly it's crept up on us. We're only 2 weeks away from it now. And it hasn't really kicked off the madness around it yet, has it?
Not really, has it? No, it's kind of, it's still, yeah. You know, I've only seen a few posts and a few little videos of Fury, you know, calling him a sausage and whatever else. Yeah.
Yeah, they announced the fight in December, and it's just gone quiet, and that's why you know it's sort of out of sight, out of mind. I'm sure that's going to change next week when they start selling the pay-per-view. What's your thoughts on the build-up, John?
It's been quiet, hasn't it? But maybe it's because we're getting so many big fight announcements these days. It's not such a novelty, is it? You know, we were getting so few of them that when something dropped, it was massive. But now, since that got announced, look what we've had. We've had Joshua and Ngannou. We've had 5 versus 5. We've had everything. So it'll all kick off next week. Fury won't let it be quiet, will he? Fury's going to start building it next week.
I can't believe he's been so quiet. All I've seen so far of him in Saudi, a picture in the pool with his head sticking out, and a picture of him doing them famous long plodding runs that he does, a video of that. No one's seen a word. I mean, it almost adds to the mystique of it, I suppose, not hearing from Fury calling someone a sausage. I think all he's done is criticise Usyk for wearing an earring in the last month. He's never been so quiet.
That's it. He's obviously taking it very, very seriously and grafting behind closed doors, isn't he?
Yeah.
Which I believe he needs to do because obviously maybe he underestimated Ngannou in the last one. You know, and this, you know, Usyk, I think without a doubt, I think it's his toughest fight. Usyk's an incredible 300 plus amateurs. I think this is going to be a real tough one, and I hope Fury does it. But I've just got a sneaky feeling Usyk might just. I know size matters a lot, but Usyk is, you know, he's got his country on his shoulders that are at war, and I hope I'm wrong. I really do, because I like Fury. I've been at his camp. I've sparred in front of him with Isaac Lowe, and all his team and all his brothers are a top set of boys. I've just got a feeling Usyk might just like box and move and try, and you know, he's a heck of a fighter, and I think he might just try and keep him off him. And either that, so I'm predicting a Usyk win or a controversial Fury win or a draw. That's I've got 3 predictions.
You sit on the fence, Jim. You're allowed to. It's your last week as a pro boxer. You can say what you want these weeks.
But Usyk win or a controversial one for Fury. There we go.
Round 4, John. I know you'll be quite pleased to talk about Zelfa Barrett, because you've been around him since day one. You know, from small hall to now this headline event at the arena.
Yeah, I remember seeing Zelfa walk out for his debut at Middleton Arena nearly 10 years ago now, just over 9, and same weight as he is now, look completely different. Black shorts, dead simple, and every now and then someone jumps out at you when you see them make a debut, and you know they're going to be good. There's been a couple I've seen, like Jazza Dickens was one, Zelfa was the other one. You just knew they were going to be really good. All of a sudden now, 9 years later, he's gone from Middleton Arena to Castle Leisure Centre to Oldham Sports Centre, Newcastle Racecourse. and now he's headlining at the MEN Arena in a world title eliminator. We're not sure if it's final eliminator yet. World title eliminator against Jordan Gill. And I think he goes into it as a good favourite as well. I think this is a fight that's set up for Zelfa to win. I think it's set up for a fight for Zelfa to look good in. And after this, it's a world title. But yeah, what a journey from literally the bottom to as high as you can get in Manchester, headlining the MEN.
You know what? I was just thinking when you put this topic, I can only echo what you say about the early days. I think 5 or 6 of his early fights were at Middleton. Then there was, I remember seeing him Bury, I think, one night.
Yeah, Halloween night, when he came out.
I wasn't at the Oldham fight, but I remember Bury. I remember seeing him at Oldham. But you know what? I think there's geographically, we're seeing this a lot more with fighters from the north of England go from 0 to the top. Josh Warrington did it. No one expected. Of course, Ricky Hatton started off at leisure centres, then Widnes, but we knew from what he did as an amateur junior that there was a special talent coming through. But I'm trying to think, you're not seeing this from London fighters now coming from nowhere and headlining arena. I mean, Buatsi's headlining the O2, I think it is, Saturday night. And, you know, there's little momentum around the fight. I don't know what it is. It always seems boxers from the north of England seem to be able to go from nowhere to the top. I find that quite bizarre. Not bizarre, but quite strange. It doesn't seem to be a London thing anymore, whereas in the 80s, it was pure London fighters. You had to be in London to get anywhere as a boxer. But you know what? I'm pleased for Zelfa because I haven't been around him as much as you have, John, but his feet's always been on the ground, keeps himself to himself, goes to the gym, trains, looks after his little girl. He's made the sacrifices to deserve this night. And one of the reasons he left Frank Warren to join Matchroom was for nights like this to become the pin-up boy in Manchester boxing. I just hope he has it, and he has a few more good nights like it.
Long time there. Are we going to let Jimmy talk, or are we being strict?
Have you sparred Zelfa?
I hogged the last one, didn't I, with Fury? You did get a shout of the Fury one, John. But yeah, I love Zelfa. I think the Northern fans will properly get behind him, all the Manchester lot. Zelfa's one heck of a slickster, isn't he? Great fighter. I know he was over in the gym a bit back sparring Corey O'Regan, who's a good kid. And again, a couple of weights above Zelfa. And, it was a cracking spar. And Zelfa's strong, sharp, fast, improving all the time. Got a great trainer with Pat. Yeah, I wish him very well. I really do, yeah.
Round 5, maybe randomness, but Netflix coming into boxing. There's been talk about it for a while. And we saw the impact of Netflix on Formula One racing. I mean, people just suddenly, like my oldest daughter, she watches a bit of football, a bit of boxing. She suddenly has become a Formula One addict, goes to the race. She went to the Australian Grand Prix, all through seeing all this on Netflix. They're doing the WWE now. You can imagine what superstars they're going to make those guys. And they're doing a live tennis match, Nadal and Alcaraz, the Spanish kid from Murcia, in Las Vegas. And I just think it's only a matter of time they come into boxing. And once they do, I just think it's game over for everybody else when it comes to big fights. Because of what Netflix are, what they generate. The one thing they won't do, they won't be going around giving deals to, say, a British promoter to do British shows. It'll all be global stuff. But I think if they come into boxing, it could be, a killer for the traditional broadcasters who are finding it hard now anyway with all the streaming. John?
Yeah,
sorry.
You I was going to say as well, Steve. I mean, you've been around boxing, Box Nation. In the early days, probably in the ITV days when they were on terrestrial TV. So yeah, it'll be a strange one, will that? But it will be a strange one with Netflix. But I'm sure Eddie Earn and the DAZN and they'll find a way to try and keep it with Sky and DAZN. But again, you never know, do you? You know more about that than me with the broadcasters. Yeah.
What do you think, John? Yeah. If Netflix come into boxing,
what do we call it these days? I'm not too up on the TV terms. Is it shoulder programming?
I don't know. I haven't heard that one. I don't know.
The build-up shows where they show the personalities and where they and magazine shows like the Formula One. It wasn't the races, was it? Netflix didn't show the
It was the guys. It was
documentary series.
Yeah.
And that's what it's going to be. If they can put documentary series together about the fighters, then it's going to take them to an entirely different level, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's also, I know, you've got to be careful on Netflix, though. If you make something shit, people will flick past it.
Yes.
It's got to be good. But it does seem like they're willing to put the money into the production to make top quality stuff, doesn't it? So they could make stars like nobody else.
Yeah, and they're going into these live events, and you can only imagine. I don't follow wrestling, but you can only imagine what they're going to make these guys now, or already big. They're household names in America. I know that these guys, I do know that much about it. But imagine what they're going to become. They're going to become absolute A-listers everywhere. These wrestlers now. Anyway, round 6.
Well, you've got a Triple H poster just outside the camera there, haven't you, on the wall?
Who?
You.
You know what? My daughter had a wrestling phase, and about 4 years ago, I went to WrestleMania in New York, and the production of it blew my mind. I was blown away by the production. And when Joan Jett come on and played a bit of punk rock live, it was a great night. Anyway, that was right for me that night. Joan Jett playing live at WrestleMania in New York. Why is it the right time for you, Jimmy, to retire after your fight on Saturday night? As I said at the top of the pod, boxing's giving you a lot, and you've given a lot to boxing the last few years. Why suddenly? I mean, I just thought you'd have one more attack towards the title and then call it a day. I just thought you'd be one of those fighters. The next loss will be the last. So why are you hoping? Why are you going out 4-rounder on your friend Darren's show?
Yeah, it's a tough one. Well, do you know what? It came from a bit of advice from one of my trainers, and the thing is, I'd have to get maybe two or three more wins to then get back to that English title contention. Maybe a couple. It's a very difficult decision because part of me wants to carry on. The other part, it's making weight, it's the dieting. It's the training camps, it is a difficult one for boxers to know when to retire. And I'm going to miss the sport so much. But I get injured in every training camp. It's either my hands, I have to have the extra days off because of my knees and things like that. And it's never really bothered me, but I just got the advice, and I think boxers do need good advisors around them. A good team to because they see things that we don't. And as much as I believe that, that I can carry on, and I believe that I can, I think it's the clever decision as well to take, because it only takes one more hit on the head to become injured, and it's all the sparring that goes with it. So yeah, it's been a very tough decision actually. And I've had quite a bit. I've had a life before boxing because I started so late, but I'm still finding it really tough. So it must be very, very difficult for guys that have been boxing since they were 10 and then retire, come 30, and they've been in it for, they've known nothing else. So, but I'm blessed to be in the sport. I'm already doing training. I've achieved more than I ever actually set out to do. And, boxing twice on Sky, winning on Sky, boxing for the, winning a title, big knockout reel on there as well, even though it was my pal Justin Yull, and fighting for the English, even though it didn't go my way. That's what makes it even more difficult, because did I get caught cold, or has my punch resistance just disappeared overnight? There's a lot of unanswered questions. I went down with the first knockdown heavily, and then I got back up, went down another couple of times. But when the referee stopped it, my legs, I was on better legs. I felt like I could have carried on, and then who knows what might have happened. But Lewis Sylvester, sharp kid, and yeah, I've made the decision now. It is, but come a week, 2 weeks down the line, it's going to be like, shit, right? What now? But I'm in the corner with Callum Simpson. I'll probably open my own gym in the not so distant future. Train others. So there's a future in the sport for me, and yeah, it's a tricky one. It's a difficult one, really.
Yeah, I know you led a great life in your 20s, touring the world, living on beaches, just getting odd jobs around in all sorts of wonderful countries to make ends meet. Do you regret any of that at all? And you could have done that now, knowing what boxing's given you the last few years?
No, I don't, because bit of character building, and I saw some amazing places and met some great people. So no regrets there, mate. No regrets. And boxing's been good to me. I mean, really, I wanted a few more years. But as a pro, maybe, it's one of them ones. It's a tricky one, but I got advised by Mark Hurley at Dickies, Callum, and I trust their advice because they see things, bad decision making in the fight, and it, in whilst when I'm in there. So, yeah, I wanted to show my mettle and really come back from it. But when I listen to that man, because he's a very wise man, and sometimes you have to be the bigger man and say, right, it's and my family as well. They wanted me to, my parents, my mum and dad, bless them, still around, thank God, and they'll be pleased to see me finishing and hanging my gloves up. Yeah.
I was going to say, Jimmy, have you made a promise to yourself to quit, or have you made a promise to other people? Because if you walk through, Carl Sampson's got a decent overhand right. If you walk through a couple of bombs and stop him in two, have you made a promise to yourself to quit, or a promise to your family?
Yeah, no, I have. Well, mainly, yeah, I have actually. No, I've said to myself, that's it. I mean, part of me, feels right. We can do it, but that's in your mind, and then when your body's going through it, it's a hell of a thing. I put my body through strain making the 9 stone 9 championship weight. And I do feel it. So, you know what? There's nothing more to prove to myself or anyone else. Who knows? Maybe there would have been an English title, but you know what? British would have been an absolute thingy. But that would have been an absolute dream of all dreams, the British. But, that's the absolute pinnacle more than an English. And I think that'd be way too, let's be realistic. It's too far out of my reach. There's a new crop of youth coming through. As you can hear, I've still got my marbles, but, 1 or 2 brain cells left. I'll preserve them. Carl Sampson, a heck of a fighter as well. We have to give him a mention. What a guy. He can box. He can move. He's the best away fighter in the country, or one of them.
Let's be straight. He's decided to go in the away corner, hasn't he? Because he could be a whole fighter, Carl. He's good. Yeah.
I believe he's got titles in him. So if he wants to, decide to, turn it round, and just fight for a couple of titles, I think Carl Sampson can do that.
Well, he beat Lillis Wood, who's the area champion at Super Feather.
Yeah. So, I have to be on my A game. I have to be on the ball because he'll be sharp. So I've just got to be got to be on the ball with this one, definitely still.
So. Would a camper van come out of mothballs now for yourself and your partner if you go travelling again, both of you? Or is it going to just be get your boxing gym going first before the van's taken out?
That's it. Well, that's another tricky one because we want to open up a boxing gym, but then, we have to find that balance to be able to go away in the camper as well, don't we? So that's a tricky one. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. Maybe that documentary we talked about, Stevie.
You know what? I tell you what. We were going a couple of documentaries I was doing. When I did one about that one I started doing, and the guy doing the filming with me, he was also an actor. He was a child actor, and we were doing it. And you know what? I was thinking of this morning about the documentary. We were going to do it, and he got a part in something that's been on BBC recently. I'll dig it out and tell you Saturday the guy I was doing it with. And he's vanished now. I see him on Instagram occasionally, and that's it. He's a bit of a star now. I'm a bit below him now, but there you go. I'm below everything. I'm only 5'8".
You and me will get a Winnebago, and we'll go out around a few gyms and
that's it, yeah.
But I wanted to say as well, it'd be an honour to have you there, mate. From my last dance.
Well, I'm there, mate. I'm there Saturday night.
Wicked. Wicked, and we'll I'm trying to get a DJ on afterwards, so we'll have a bit of a dance and that.
Well, I don't know about having a dance. I'll have a non-alcoholic lager with you, mate,
You can
afterwards.
still
There's
move.
a DJ
No.
on after. But you know
Good
what,
on you, mate.
Jim, I'll see you Saturday on. But thanks for everything you've given to boxing the last few years. You know, I'm not just saying this. You know, you turned pro very, very late. You couldn't box amateur. You showed you can do it in your 30s. And you know what? You've done what you mentioned something very few fighters get to do. Box on Sky a couple of times, win on Sky, and people have spoken about you.
Yeah, well, I'm 43 next month, so
Brilliant.
You know, it's that were part of the decision as well. Do you know what I mean? It's that the body, you know, won a title, won a central area at the age of 41, boxed for English at 42. Just fell short, didn't we? But yeah, I can hold my head up high, that's for sure. Yeah, and I appreciate, you know what, not just you guys, my trainers, Mark Earley, Chris Aston, my manager, Chris Aston, who's stuck with us throughout it, but all the people in boxing, all the backstage people, the stewards, you know, the security guys, you know, all the officials, the guy, they're all just boxing gives so much, and there's nothing but great people in boxing. Do you know what I mean? You know, at the top there's a bit of you know, messing around with, you know, here and there, but nothing but and the boxing gyms at our grassroots level, absolutely awesome, you know, and throughout boxing it's given me so much. So yeah, and great people.
Brilliant. Jim, thanks very much. I'm looking forward to seeing you Saturday. John, thanks for helping again as my co-presenter. You're a star. I'll speak to you in the week or next week. And thanks everyone for watching or listening on a few days before Jimmy the Fist says goodbye to being a boxer before starting a new career as a trainer. Thanks, everybody.
Cheers, Steve. Cheers, John.
Cheers for that, lads. I'll let you get to the gym now, Jim, anyway.
Nice one, Jimmy.
Down.
Cheers, fellas.
Pleasure chatting to you both, Johnny boy. Take care as well, mate.
Good luck, mate.
Steve.
Thank you. Cheers, John.
All the best.
Bye.
Cheers, boys.
For all boxing info, news and latest interviews, amateur and pro, across the north, click and subscribe. VIP Boxing Promotions. Also, Twitter, Instagram and Facebook.